So in this segment, we're going to be talking about the festival of Brexit, which is £120 million waste of money and heading for total failure, say MPs. And this is something they've been talking about since Theresa May was Prime Minister, was delayed because of COVID, and they're going to spend £120 million on this. It's wild, and it's going to last for like 6 months or something like that. We'll get to that bit in the article, but it's absolute madness. So Boris Johnson's planned festival of Brexit is a waste of public money and set for failure, a committee of MPs has warned. In a scathing report, the cross-party Culture, Media and Sport Select Committee criticised the government's handling of the £120 million project, which is set to take place this year. And they always say, we haven't got money for certain things, we can't help you out, deal with it. And they're going to waste £120 million on this project? Really? The event is officially known as Unboxed Creativity in the UK. Is that the best name you could come up with? Unboxed Creativity in the UK. I know there's a guy on YouTube called Unboxed Therapy. That's a more creative name than this. But government figures, including Brexit Opportunities Minister Jacob Rees-Mogg, has characterised it as a festival of Brexit, because that's really going to bring the nation together. A festival of Brexit to celebrate what? The end of freedom of movement, the end of free movement of goods, the end of free movement of services and capital. What are we celebrating here? It doesn't make sense. MPs say they were told that the event's final name could not be chosen before October 2021, and that's why they come up with this stupid-ass name. Less than a year before it was due to take place, because minister didn't know what the name was. They didn't even have a name. And the best they come with, Unboxed Creativity UK. What? In a previous version of its branding, the event was known as Festival UK 2022, a name which notably featured an unpronounceable asterisk. What does that even mean? The committee took issue with the framing of the project, which officials at the Culture Department billed as including something for everyone, despite being advised that it should not be all things to all people. I mean, something for everyone. What are you going to have there that appeals to me? Because if they ain't selling samosas and kebabs yet, I ain't part of it, chief. They were also concerned that very few people knew that the event was happening or what it involves. With its purpose remaining vague, no doubt they could easily hand over some government money to an advertisement company that probably has some sort of link to the Tory party. They can resolve that a couple million, maybe 10, 15 to an advertising company to stick this on the side of a bus or something, who knows. Since the event's inception in 2018, so under Theresa May, the aims for Festival UK 2022 Unboxed Creativity in the UK have been vague and ripe for misinterpretation by the press and public at large, the cross-party report found on Wednesday. I mean, this is bizarre, isn't it? It's just bizarre. We see no evidence to refute such scepticism now. The desire for it to seemingly cater to everyone, everywhere, is a recipe for failure, and investing £120 million is something, when the government, by their own admission, did not know what it was, is an irresponsible use of public money. The event's organisers have explicitly rejected the Festival Brexit label and say it is in fact a UK-wide groundbreaking celebration of creativity taking place in 2022, which... what creativity is there in the UK? Have you seen the food here? Honestly, beans on toast, which I love beans on toast, but it's not very creative, is it? It's expected to run from March to October 2022, so you can have this thing running pretty much all year long, right? In the wet months of March. Wait, we're in March, so it hasn't even kicked off yet. We literally at the end of March, so it's not started yet. April, when's this thing going to kick off, really? Because we're in the wet months now, and after what, you've got October, so you've got September, October, which again are really wet and cold. Are you going to expect people to go out in the wet and cold to celebrate this nonsense? The About section of the Unboxed claims, we're lifting the lid on 10 awe-inspiring new ideas shaped across science, technology, engineering, the arts and mathematics by brilliant minds working in unexpected collaborations. I mean, what is this, honestly? You're going to combine all of these things together, or in some part together, which, okay, science, technology, engineering are all struggling because of the problems around the getting us into the Horizon program. The arts and mathematics are fine, but again, without a free movement, we are struggling in these, arts, including music. we are struggling because EU musicians can't come to the UK and perform without going through loads of red tape, just like UK musicians can't go to the EU because of all the red tape, not easily anyways. So what are you celebrating here? Unmissable events and unforgettable experiences are coming to places and spaces across the UK. I mean, it sounds like a circus, to be honest. From coastal towns and city centres to breathtaking areas of natural beauty. I mean, does anyone have any idea what this means? Really? I guess we could celebrate xenophobia because that's something the UK has been specialising in for centuries now. Julian Knight, the Conservative MP who chairs the Culture Select Committee, said the festival's muddled approach was a surefire recipe for failure, despite the UK having a strong reputation on the world stage as a leading host for sporting and cultural events. Do we though? Are we leading in sporting and cultural events? I don't know about that. There is no golden thread linking them all together unless the government urgently addresses this. I talk about the lack of talent within the party, but there's also a lack of creativity. They are very, very boring people. Very boring people. It will continue to risk squandering the benefits such occasions can bring while wasting the hard-earned money of taxpayers. He said, well, the government love wasting taxpayers' money, pal. The Unboxed Festival acts as a prime illustration of an event which aims that had been vague from the start. It took 3 years to come up with a rather nebulous name. Again, maybe they come up with the idea of, people love unboxings on YouTube, Unboxed Festival. Oh, it makes sense, doesn't it? Which will mean little to the few that are even aware of its existence. It does not bode well for its chance of delivering a true lasting legacy, which, again, I've barely heard of this thing anyways. Like, does anyone really care about it? I don't know. How this questionable example of planning is playing out should act as a wake-up call for the government. Such a muddled approach is a surefire recipe for failure, and we have no confidence that it can meet its ambitious targets for engagement to deliver a return on the substantial investment from the public coffers. This should be gone through the Public Accounts Committee, and they would, savage this as well. It's a joke. It's a massive waste of money. Martin Green, CBE Chief Creative Officer. And again, I get bored of just quoting spokespeople, but his statements are just rubbish. He says Unboxed is an ambitious program of 10 free major multi-site and digital creative projects designed to bring people together in UK-wide celebration of creativity, delivered in partnership with the Four Nations. I mean, he's speaking a load of drivel there, isn't it? Especially with the rise again of COVID numbers. I can see this thing getting scrapped again or being delayed again because of it, because the UK numbers aren't great. But does anyone know what to make of this? I know it's meant to be a Brexit festival, and then they kind of changed it because it was a bit toxic, and I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.